The Buried Blueprint, Episode 9, The Return of the Story Keepers. The farther back we look, the more the world behaves like a palimpsest. Written, erased, rewritten, but never fully clean. Beneath every myth lies an older version, and beneath that an even older memory carved by those who refuse to let truth die with the cities drowned or buried beneath drifting ages of dust. After the Ogygian Deluge, after humanity staggered through its third regression, the earth entered a strange era of quiet reconstruction. But scattered across the world were individuals in small groups who carried memories older than the floodwaters, people who survived not through luck but through lineage. These were the story keepers. They possessed knowledge passed through families, clans, and hidden enclaves since the era before the first reset. Their survival was no accident. It was preparation. They understood the cycles. They recognized the signs, and they knew the sky would one day fall again. Across Turtle Island, these story keepers were the ones who preserved the Seven Fires teachings and the star maps older than the nations themselves. Among the Maori, they encoded the voyages of forebears who navigated by lights no longer visible. In West Africa, the Dogon encoded orbital patterns of stars unseen by the naked eye. In the Andes, the Amatos safeguarded quipu patterns that were more than numbers. They were cosmological equations. Their symbols and stories appear different, but the structure is identical. A migration guided by sky teachers, a collapse sent by cosmic forces, a return of those who once left, and the warning of cycles that shape both Earth and the beings who walked it. With time, these groups began to reconnect, not directly, not through travel or trade, through resonance, each one rediscovering fragments of the same truth. Star knowledge resurfaced simultaneously across continents as if pulled upward by a single rising tide. Oral traditions shifted, old ceremonies awakened, children began asking questions their grandparents recognized from dreams they were taught never to speak of. And beneath that resurgence lay a secret. The storytellers were not acting alone. Across many traditions, a reoccurring figure appears. The stranger, sometimes a wanderer, sometimes a shining being, sometimes a teacher disguised in human form who visits villages and clans and hidden settlements after cataclysms. He appears in Greek stories as the returning builder, in Hopi teachings as the watcher from the third world, in South American myth as Viracocha, a pale traveler who arrives barefoot, weeping for the world that was lost. In Pacific tales as a navigator who carries memory like a burning coal. In the Middle East as a being who walks among shepherds teaching them the stars. No single identity ties these figures together, yet their message is always the same. Remember what the world was, so you may survive what it will become. The Anunna Files speak of the same pattern, not gods, survivors of the reset cycles, custodians of knowledge who re-emerge after the sky collapses, guiding the fragments of humanity so the species does not vanish. No rulers, but reluctant shepherds, some benevolent, some broken by the dark ages beneath the earth, some corrupted by power. The legacy of their interventions is the patchwork nature of our civilizations, bursts of brilliance appearing suddenly amid populations otherwise struggling to rebuild stone tools and fire pits. As humanity slowly recovered from the 1687 BCE deluge, the story keepers recognized that another turning approached. They saw it in the heavens, shifting stars, wandering bodies, and the strange silence of certain constellations described in older maps but missing from the sky. They saw it in the Earth's rhythms, climate veering sharply, magnetic fields trembling, animals migrating in patterns unseen since earlier collapses, so they began embedding their warnings everywhere in petroglyphs carved deep into canyon walls and stories told around fires during the darkest nights, in symbols painted onto hides, bowls, temples, and sacred stones, in migrations guided by dreams. They knew the world forgets quickly. They also knew forgetting is what makes the cycle deadly. Today their messages sit hidden in plain sight, spiral mounds, serpent walls, stone alignments, marking celestial paths long lost. The thunderbird, stretching across continents, has a single motive. The world looks at these as relics, not instructions, but the story keepers left them for those who would one day recognize the pattern, that humanity has survived more endings than it has written beginnings, that teachers always return after the falls, and that the next chapter depends on whether we can decode the past before the cycle turns again.